Praise him, my brothers and sisters. This is Sister Judy coming back to you this morning again. And I'm going to do the altar of incense. Ever since I finished that brazen altar, the Lord want me to just give you a snip of what the altar of incense is. Let's just say a quick word of prayer. Father, I come before you this morning. I ask you to cover each and every one that hear this broadcast. Give them the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that they will need. And thank you this day for your grace, your mercy, and all that you're revealing unto me. Thank you. So now for a reading of the altar of incense, we can go to Exodus 30, 1 to 9. And you can also look at Revelation 8, verse 3 and 4, Revelation 5, verse 8, Psalms 141, verse 2. Those are the ones that I'm going to be basing what I want to say to you all today about this. Now, the altar of incense is a place right before the thin veil, or you call it the spear. And this right before the spear, I'm going to explain something to you. So, the altar of incense represents the prayer of God people. You will find the altar of incense in the second dimension, or in the tabernacle. You'll find it in the holy place. Now, what I want you all to know, because I'm going to do it based on the tabernacle, because I want you to get a quick understanding. I'm not going to make it long, but I'm going to push as much information I want. I want to do this under 10 minutes and give you a lot of information. The altar of incense, we all know where it is placed in the tabernacle. We have the showbread, we have the candlesticks, and then we have the altar of incense. Now, right where the altar of incense is where I call in the second dimension at the sixth level. Some people call it the sixth heaven, but it is in the second dimension. Now, right here, we have two sets of people that is caught right there. We have those that already sell out, and we have those that are still praying, asking for help so they can make their way into the third dimension. I mentioned that there is a spear. And what I want you to understand about the spear is like a thin veil. And we all know a thin veil covers something. So right where I'm calling the spear, that's where we have the throne of Satan and those angels that were thrown out of heaven, that was holed up in the atmosphere. But they are covered within the spear with a thin veil. I also want you to know, when you hear, sometimes you hear I talk about I was in the atmosphere. There is two atmospheres that I want you to focus on. Where the thin spear is placed, it's placed between an atmosphere below and the atmosphere above. Now, the atmosphere above, everyone that enter into the third dimension have access to the atmosphere above. If you are caught in the atmosphere below the spear, you do not have access. Now pay close attention to what I said about the veil. In that veil, it's a place I would call chatters. You have all familiar spirit that is on the other side. That's where they dwell. They can hear 99.5 of what is saying, because God is also sending back down help for those that need to go over. And I want you all to know the veil is set in the atmosphere between earth and heaven. Now, I say this because I want people to know when people are speaking from the familiar spirit, they come with 99.5 and they're not telling people everything. You know, I was reading this morning Psalms 91, where God said, I will give my angel charge over you to protect you. You will hear people with the familiar ways just tell people you don't have to worry. God will give his angel charge over you. But that's not true. When God is going to give his angel charge over you, he gives you a command that he expects you to do. Let's go into Moses. When God was going to give the angel charge over the children of Israel, he told Moses to tell them, when you make your sacrifice, your animal, I want you to put the blood over the doorposts. And when I see the blood, I will pass over. That was the charge God gave unto Moses to give unto his people. For those that obey, they will be saved. For those that don't obey, you will not. Because then God in turn turned to his angel and he said unto them, when you see the blood over the posts, pass by. Don't enter. No death will come to those people. That's how you know someone that is speaking from the third dimension, from people that are hearing from the familiar spirit. They will not give that specific command. The command God gave to his people is a cup of salt in the water. I'm telling you this, people, because it's getting serious and it's getting dangerous. Because the sacrifice is about to happen. And we have to understand, for those that are caught up in the second dimension, at the 6th level, this is how you know. You hear a lot of noise. You cannot hear when God is speaking to you. There is a lot of noise. So when you cannot hear, it's not for you to drown the noise out. What God is trying to say to you, you need to come up higher, because you need to go above the sphere where you enter into the heaven of the other atmosphere where it's quiet. So you need now to ask God, what do I need to do so I can move from this place to shoot into the third dimension? Remember, I told you all about the prayer that the Lord told me that I need to pray. This is why I'm giving you these verses. So you will see that people that are in the third dimension, at the third level, they have access to people that are praying at the second dimension below the sphere, and will be able to tell them what God need them to do or help them. And I want you to know, God used a man. It was Moses that he used to help those that were saved. I say this thing because a lot of people is rebellious and they don't want to accept what God is saying. But this is a deep teaching that I don't want to do on YouTube. I would never do this teaching on YouTube. Because you cannot give pearls to swine, because they're just going to trample on it. And you cannot give things to dog that will return to their vomit. You know, the other day the Lord was telling me there is a lot of lap dogs that wrap themselves in things that is not so. But this is where I'm going to leave it today. God bless you all, my brothers and sisters. Know those that are speaking from the third heaven, from those that are speaking from the familiar ways. They hear 99.5, but that 5% that they do not get is very serious. God said, I will give my angel charge over you. But he's going to give them charge as we obey what he's going to instruct us to do. And remember, the thin veil is what is holding up the evil one. Because when the Western Hemisphere is taken, that veil will be ripped. Go back to Revelation 12 that I did, and you will see that they were now kicked down to earth. So that veil will be ripped. Let me just leave it here. I'm not going to go into it because I can feel it want to come, but this is all I want to say to you, brothers and sisters. The Lord is giving us instruction, and we need to know those that will speak from the governmental posts, from those that are hearing apart. God bless you. God keep you. This is Love Ministry. I seal this word with the ring of Yeshua HaMashiach. I seal it with the blood of the Lamb.